Socialist Republic of Vietnam.
Hello and welcome to The Voice of Vietnam. I'm Lệ Chi. In today's program, after the news, we will feature vegetarian eating in Huế. This will be followed by a review of major developments in Vietnam this week. And finally, our weekend music will introduce singer Tùng Dương and his album called Unique Path. First, here's the news. In the news headlines, a vote of confidence is conducted at the National Assembly section. Vietnam values ties with Canada and the Francophone. And Australia is ready for the G20 summit. Now the news in detail.
National Assembly deputies held a plenary session on Saturday. Chairman of the National Assembly office, Nguyễn Hạnh Phúc, reported on results of group discussions about votes of confidence on 50 key positions elected and approved by the National Assembly. A 29-member vote counting committee was then established, headed by Huỳnh Văn Tý, head of the National Assembly delegation of Bình Thuận province. The deputies also discussed the draft law on the election of deputies to the National Assembly and People's Councils. They agreed that the issuance of the law would help to improve the quality of National Assembly deputies and improve the performance of the National Assembly and People's Councils in the future. Nguyễn Anh Sơn is a deputy from Nam Định province.
Khoản 2 điều 117 hiến pháp sửa đổi quy định tổ chức.
Item 2, Article 117 of the revised Constitution specifies the responsibilities of the National Election Council, which this draft law does not. I propose that the drafting committee include a number of specific regulations, which had been carefully considered when we discussed the 2013 Constitution.
The deputies also discussed revisions to the law on special consumption and other laws on taxation. The results of the vote of confidence and a resolution verifying these results will be released later the same day. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Phạm Bình Minh held a meeting with Canada's former Governor-General Michel Jean in Hanoi on Friday. Affirming the Vietnam values its ties with Canada, he said the country is ready to work with Canada to foster the relationship and make it more effective. The Deputy Prime Minister affirmed Vietnam's constant policy of participating in the International Francophone Organization in an active and responsible manner, stating that Vietnam can act as a bridge between the Francophone and ASEAN. He suggested the organization focus more on economic cooperation and plans to adapt to the rapidly changing global context, along with encouraging the diversity in culture and language. Michel Jean said Vietnam is an important partner for Canada in the Asia-Pacific region and highly valued the role Vietnam plays in global and regional organizations. She lauded Vietnam's contributions to the development of the French-speaking community over the years. She said she was impressed by women and youngsters in Vietnam, considering them important actors in Vietnam's national development and international integration process. The Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU of Britain's Economist Group said Vietnamese lawmakers have succeeded in curbing CPI surge, which is reflected by reduced inflation over the past 4 months. The EIU said on Wednesday that October's inflation rate was 3.2% compared to 5% in June. The EIU said inflation rate was a pressing issue for the Vietnamese economy, but since the country focused on stabilizing prices, Vietnamese lawmakers have helped to increase confidence in the economy. A conference on measures to peacefully resolve maritime disputes in the sea was held in Busan City, South Korea on Friday. This has been the 4th conference co-organized by South Korea's Yongsan University and the Association of Korean People Loving Vietnam. Researchers attending the conference analyzed 3 topics, including international legal issues relating to China's new ship line in the sea, Vietnam's stance and viewpoints toward China's new ship line in the sea, and legal matters in enforcing the law of the sea in the EC recently, and China's law of the sea. The delegates were introduced to legal and historical documents confirming Vietnam's sovereignty in the sea, and research by international scholars proving the illegality of China's new ship line. Vice Rector of the Hanoi University of Law Chu Meng-hung said, Korean researchers have acknowledged that China's public note sent to the UN and its claim of the new ship line was a unilateral act without legal and historical basis. The move violated international law in the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. They said that the move caused tension in the sea and threatened to restore an international peace and security. The Japanese agricultural sector eagerly wants to cooperate with Vietnam in updating and installing the latest industry technologies, said Genichi Takashima, president of the Japan Farm Machinery Manufacturers Association. Takashima made a statement on Friday in Hanoi at the Vietnam-Japan Trade Exchange Conference held as part of the ongoing 14th International Agriculture Trade Fair, AgroViet 2014. He said,
We have established our facilities in China and Thailand and hope to build a factory in Vietnam in the future. We have many modern equipment, and as Vietnam is an agriculture-based country, it will need our machines to reduce manpower and increase productivity.
Over the years, Japan has been a key provider of official development assistance to Vietnam and has actively assisted Vietnam in transferring technology and training officials in many fields. The Japanese market has a great demand for the import of agroforestry fishery products. The Prime Minister has ratified planning for culture, family, sports and tourism development in the key Central Economic Region until 2020 with a vision to 2030. This region, which encompasses Thừa Thiên Huế, Da Nang, Quảng Nam, Quảng Ngãi and Bình Định province, is expected to become one of Vietnam's major tourist centers with highly competitive products. It hopes to welcome 10 million foreign visitors by 2030, generating a revenue of $4 billion and creating 140,000 direct jobs. Vietnamese traditional rattan and bamboo handicrafts of artisans Nguyễn Văn Tĩnh and Nguyễn Phương Quang were a feature attraction on Friday at the 34th India International Trade Fair, which kicked off in New Delhi, India. The opening of the two-week event themed Women Entrepreneurs is expected to attract more than 2 million visitors, saw the participation of thousands of enterprises from more than 25 nations around the globe. A delegation of the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army gave 700 gifts worth $35,000 to poor and social beneficiary households in several districts in Cao Bang province. The gifts consisted of blankets and mosquito nets, computers and teaching aid, and speakers for council houses. The good deed shows the Army's care for the people and is in anticipation of the 70th founding anniversary of the Vietnam People's Army on December 22nd. The 6th Culture, Sports and Tourism Festival of the Khmer will take place from November 27th to 29th in Hậu Giang province. The event will consist of folk games and sports competitions, performances and a food fair. The festival aims to preserve and promote the cultural features of Khmer people while enriching the spiritual life of the locals. The activities will promote traditional values in combination with the movements of building a cultural lifestyle in new rural areas and promoting tourism in the Mekong River Delta.
Up next is the world news. The 2014 Annual Summit of the Group of G20 Developed and Emerging Economies comes up from November the 15th to the 16th in the Australian city of Brisbane. About 4,000 participants and 3,000 journalists will take part in the summit. The work of ensuring security for the two-day summit was officially deployed on Friday. More than 6,000 policemen, including 1,500 from New Zealand and other Australian states, participate in the strict security campaign. 900 soldiers of Australia's defence forces and 1,000 troops have been deployed. Australia has spent approximately $100 million on security work. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has expressed his hope to expand cooperation with the U.S. and Australia to maintain peace, security and prosperity in the Asia-Pacific region. The statement was made in his article ran by the Australian Financial Review prior to the G20 summit, which will take place this weekend in Brisbane, Australia. Abe said that the United States is the most important ally of Japan and Australia. He said the Japanese-Australian relationship has been developing stronger than ever. He expresses hope that both Japan and Australia will have practical steps to boost cooperation in defense and security in the context of a bilateral agreement on the transfer of defense equipment and technology signed on July. Prime Minister Abe will meet with U.S. President Barack Obama and Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott on the sidelines of the G20 summit. U.S. Intelligence Chief James Clapper affirmed on Friday that analysts had not seen any evidence indicating Islamic State jihadists and Al-Qaeda had forged an alliance in Syria. Clapper, the director of the National Intelligence, said U.S. experts were unaware of any pact between the two groups, which would potentially complicate the U.S.-led military campaign in Syria. Clapper said, although there have been tactical accommodations on the battlefield on occasion, there where the local groups have united in the interest of the tactical objective, but broadly it's not likely to be the IS and Al-Qaeda to unite. The Daily Beast reported earlier this week that veterans of the Al-Qaeda splintered group known as Khorasan were trying to broker a deal between Islamic State fighters and members of the Anwar Safran, Al-Qaeda's Syrian affiliate.
And now to the news, the main points once again. A vote of confidence is conducted at the National Assembly session. Vietnam values ties with Canada and the Francophone, and Australia is ready for the G20 summit. That's the news from VOV.
You're listening to the Voice of Vietnam. It's now time for our Saturday report. Vegetarian eating, according to Buddhist beliefs, is a way to show respect to and treasure life. But to Hue citizens, it's a good way to stay healthy. Vegetarian restaurants in the city are also a meeting place of Buddhist followers, Lê Hiếu reports. Hue has many vegetarian restaurants to serve a large number of Buddhist followers. Many families used to eat vegetarian foods to train their inner lives, but now this habit has become more popular. 18-year-old Trần Diệu Hiền is a Buddhist follower. I'm used to vegetarian eating at home, but from time to time I go to vegetarian restaurants to try new dishes. There I can meet and talk with others about Buddhism. Vegetarian dishes have become a delicacy for people and tourists in Hue. The dishes are very diverse, including pork paste, chicken drumsticks, and fried fish, all made from vegetables and fruits. Nguyễn Khoa Tuyết of Phong Điền District said.
Thực phẩm Tây thì là thường mấy thứ rau cỏ là rất có lợi cho sức khỏe.
Vegetarian dishes are very healthy and easy to digest. I eat vegetarian foods 4 days a month. I have a group of friends and we often go to pagodas and vegetarian restaurants together. Many Buddhist followers go to these places. As life has become better for many people, be they Buddhist or non-Buddhist followers, becoming vegetarian has improved their mental and physical health. As a result, vegetarian restaurants have been mushrooming. Each restaurant has a different style and it's up to diners to choose the restaurant of their liking. Thiện Tâm restaurant on Lê Ngũ Ca Street offers 100 both royal and ordinary dishes. Liên Hoa restaurant on Lê Quý Street in the city center has a good location and the price is reasonable for students and young people. Tịnh Quán restaurant on Ngô Quyền Street is tranquil and luxurious, a good place for tourists. There are many other vegetarian restaurants scattered all over the city, Nguyễn Tường Vi said.
Có nhiều lý do. Thứ nhất là những món chay nó cũng ngon. Khi mà mình ăn chay thì mình cảm thấy là
Vegetarian eating helps to detoxify my body. Vegetarian restaurants have a good atmosphere for relaxation. I'm not a religious follower, but I like to eat vegetarian food. Nan Hui Tu of Liên Hoa Pagoda said, religious followers eat vegetarian food to purify their souls, nurture their compassion, and wish for a better life. Vegetarian eating helps Buddhist followers free our souls. People eat vegetarian foods to stay healthy and control their temper. For now, let's check out a review of major developments in Vietnam this week. The National Assembly deputies unanimously approved a list of 50 positions subject to the vote of confidence, including State President Trương Tấn Sang, National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng, and Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng. Top legislator Nguyễn Sinh Hùng underlines the importance of conducting the votes of confidence.
Cái bỏ phiếu lần này không chỉ làm ở Quốc hội mà theo chủ trương của Đảng.
This year, votes of confidence will be conducted first in the National Assembly, then in all sectors and at all levels. Votes in the National Assembly are for officials elected or approved by the National Assembly. Voters nationwide trust deputies who must be careful, unbiased, and have a sense of justice. This week, the National Assembly continued to discuss the draft law on sea and island resources and environment and veterinary law. The National Assembly deputies voted to approve a resolution on the state budget estimate for 2015 and a resolution on next year's socio-economic development. President Trương Tấn Sang led a Vietnamese delegation to participate in the 22nd Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Beijing, China. During the summit, Vietnam made positive contributions to the discussion of issues raised at the summit. Vietnam proposed linking economic reform, growth and connectivity with sustainable development. Millennium Development Goals and the post-2015 development agenda should include responses to global challenges like food safety, water resource security, natural disaster mitigation, and search and rescue operations. Vietnam highlighted mutually beneficial cooperation and asked for the consideration of different developmental levels and support for capacity building, especially in economics and trade. On the sidelines of the summit, President Trương Tấn Sang and the Vietnamese delegation held talks with APEC leaders on bilateral ties and future cooperation at multilateral forums amidst emerging regional and global security and development challenges. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng attended and delivered his speech at the 25th ASEAN Summit opened in Nay Pyi Thaw, Myanmar. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng said, as an active member, Vietnam continued its contributions in order to, along with ASEAN, realize the goal of building a common house. He said Vietnam appreciated solidarity and unity among ASEAN members and proposals on the ASEAN community's post-2015 vision, which should be the basis for the development during the 2016 and 25 period. Mr. Dũng added that Vietnam urged to push ASEAN cooperation with its partners in preventing and dealing with challenges such as security, maritime safety, climate change, and epidemics. Regarding the regional situation, he said, Vietnam and other countries promised to ensure peace, security, and stability in the region, particularly fully implementing the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. On the sidelines of the summit, Prime Minister Dũng met with the Prime Ministers of Russia and the UK and the UN Secretary General. He also attended the 6th Mekong Japan Summit and ASEAN Summit with partners. The National One-Stop Shop Customs Mechanism was officially piloted at international seaports this week. At the launch ceremony by the Ministry of Finance and the General Department of Customs on Wednesday in Hanoi, Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Văn Ninh asked ministries and sectors to closely cooperate to implement this mechanism. He said this was a significant effort as part of the government's comprehensive administrative reform program.
Căn cứ vào cái chương trình kế hoạch của Ban chỉ đạo và chúng ta triển khai tiếp.
We continue to implement the program based on the plan of the National Steering Committee on the ASEAN One-Stop Shop Mechanism and the National One-Stop Shop Customs Mechanism. It's essential for ministries and sectors to closely coordinate to simplify administrative procedures and facilitate import and export activities in goods transit, first at other international seaports and then at international border gates.
Explained, the one-stop shop customs mechanism will connect administrative procedures of the Ministry of Industry and Trade from this December and connect to the Ministries of Agriculture and Rural Development, Natural Resources and Environment, and Health from June 2015. And there was a review of major developments in Vietnam this week.
Welcome to another edition of the Weekend Music Session featuring Vietnamese music and artists. Our show today will feature the album Độc Đạo, which means Unique Path, by singer Tùng Dương. Unique Path is a mixture of traditional folk tunes with modern world jazz music. It is a music collaboration between Tùng Dương and famed Vietnamese French musician and producer Nguyen Lê. Coming up first is the title song of the album Unique Path.
Đàn ơi độc đạo tình ơi đàn ta độc đạo tình ta ai mua ta bán cho chút tình mà tình đêm qua mơ thấy sông dài độc đạo cùng sông, đêm qua mơ thấy trăng tròn độc đạo cùng trăng, mênh mông những vui buồn con thuyền ta xuôi dần, mênh mông những cung đàn độc đạo cùng ta. Lưu lạc một mình bên cô liêu, ai thương ta phiêu dạt bơ vơ cõi trần gian, căng lên những phim tờ ta đàn lên nỗi lòng, sao thiên lý cách xa độc đạo càng xa. Đường trời lênh đênh, đường trần lênh đênh, độc đạo là những con thuyền nhỏ bé, đường đời trông chênh, đường tình trông chênh, độc đạo là những dây đàn mỏng manh, rồi đàn quên dây tơ xa cách những cung trầm, thương nhớ những cung buồn. Đàn ơi tình này ta cho không, ơi bắt đi nỗi lòng, hãy mua giúp ta chút tình nối vài sợi tơ. Độc đạo kia mênh mang ta giấu trong tiếng đàn, ta giấu trong tiếng lòng đàn ơi. Độc đạo kia lênh đênh ta khóc cho tiếng đàn, ta khóc cho tiếng lòng. Ai oán đời mong.
That was the title song of the album Unique Path, performed by Tùng Dương. Dương voice combines with the sound of stringed instruments in a way that enchants listeners' ears. The album, which includes 10 songs that blend different musical styles, builds on Tùng Dương previous success in contemporary music. The music in Unique Path varies from folk to contemporary. On the album, Dương sings several songs which were written exclusively for him by Liu Ha-an, and often rhymes about animals popular in Vietnamese folk verses like storks or spiders. Here's Spider Spinning Its Webs, another song from the album Unique Paths.
Răng tơ tơ răng tan tình con nhện, tơ răng răng tơ tan tình con nhện. Tơ lòng một vòng âm dương xin 3 năm, tôi xin ông hữu rượu nắng cho chiếc kiệu trắng cho ngựa tia, để đến trăng tròn ngũ hành bắt quay đi hết một vòng âm dương. Một vòng cong cong vương chút tơ lòng, đi mà đời chờ người tri âm ô mấy tăng tình răng tơ tơ răng tang tình con nhện. Nhện ơi cái răng tơ mà đợi ai về, dọc ngang với bao duyên nợ cũng đành lòng mà thôi. Con cơm con nhện ta ngược xuôi, một đời lòng đong rút hết tơ lòng, nỗi sợi tơ tình chẳng ai xuôi tơ duyên mong cầu. Một vòng âm dương răng hết ta rồi, đi mà đời chờ người tri âm ôi sao đâu chẳng thấy. Xin cho kiếp này làm chân lý con lượn răng tơ cả đời, chờ ai chứ ai chờ đêm nay.
Tùng Dương has sung Spider Spinning Its Web, written by Liu Ha-an. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us and have a nice weekend.